Hey y'all, so we have had somewhat of a tragedy. So if you've been around our channel for a while, you know our favorite breed of pigs is Old Spots. Their name is Gloucestershire. That's how I say it in my redneck accent. I've been corrected so many times, so I know that's probably not correct, but that's how it comes out. But their nickname is Old Spots. That's definitely our favorite breed. They're a heritage breed pig, grow really big. In about 8 months, they're just fantastic at growing out and producing wonderful, wonderful meat, wonderful pork. In our experience of raising pigs, we've raised multiple different kinds of heritage breeds. We've raised large blacks, we've raised Old Spots, we've raised more conventional breeds like Yorkshires and different ones. But in our experience, the Old Spots have been the best at converting good quality feed into food. But recently, this last year, we went, probably about 7 months ago actually, we went and bought a load of pigs from a show farm. Now, show pigs are not generally heritage pigs. These are like Hampshire and Berkshire crosses that they've crossed to make the really big hams and things that you see. In fact, Jill from Whispering Willow just came and had our pigs on her video, and we were joking off camera. I said, they're the bodybuilders of the pig world. That's what they look like. They've got their like legs far apart, they're blocky, they're hilarious. They have been amazing. We got really attached to them. They're very friendly. We just loved them. And we thought, we want to cross this body structure, the big hams and all that, in with the Old Spots and just get the best of both worlds. Because here on our farm, while we do things for enjoyment and for because we just like them, we're also about food production. We're trying to provide food for ourselves as well as other people. So we thought these would provide the best quality pork. So we started moving forward with that plan. We picked out the best looking female to keep that we were going to cross in with our Old Spots. And we hauled the rest to the butcher last week for some of you guys, as well as to sell by the pound. Really can't wait to get that meat back. We just raised them with really great care, and we tried to use really great practices, and it was our best round of hogs we've ever raised, honestly. So let's shift gears a bit. And then a few months ago, we went to a charcuterie class over at Roots and Refuge, and we learned about charcuterie. And during that class, Ben expressed interest at raising a Mangalitsa to do the charcuterie with. Now, charcuterie to me is not like a sustainable way to preserve meat when there's no electricity or anything like that. It is in a sense, but it's also more like food, the way Hand Hewn Farm explained it to us. That's like a delicacy that you're not going to eat large portions of charcuterie. It's got a high salt content and different things, but it's fun and it's delicious, and it's just it's something more to do with your pork. While it's not like something like I was picturing it like something the pioneers would do, it's more, to me, it makes me think more high class than that, if you will, if that makes sense. But we were interested in doing that, and Roots and Refuge was interested in getting Old Spots from us to raise for food production, because they grow out a lot faster and they provide a lot more meat. So a pig swap was set in the works. So a couple of days ago, a pig this size left. These are little feeder pigs. Oh, you gonna say hi? These are probably, I don't know, 3 months old. And then a full grown one, female that is, she was about 8 or 9 months old. She was fully grown out, more like 250, 275. She was ready to be butchered or to be bred. So those two went to live at Roots and Refuge. See if I can sneak over here. And these two came to live here. You can see the little black one is a feeder pig. It's about the same age as the Old Spot. We traded age for age. And then that is a female ready to breed. So we made the swap. We had all the pigs here. And if you remember, we hauled hogs to the butcher just last week. So now that we've gotten rid of the old spot that was in that group, we only have one pig left, and that's the female we picked out of the show pigs. So at that point, she came up to the house. She'd been back in the woods, and we put her out in our front pen, our front pig pen, by herself. And then we unloaded the 2 Mangalitas in there as well. So just to be clear, out in this front pen was the bodybuilder show pig, and the Mangalita and the little feeder Mangalita. They didn't get along. The bodybuilder show pig made about 3 of the Mangalita, but the Mangalita was the alpha. So she was kind of pushing and bullying around on the big show pig. But that's what happens. They establish their pecking order. The Mangalitas, while they had not been penned up together at Roots and Refuge, they took up together and they were stuck together here. So that was the situation. All of these old spots that you now see out there in the front pen were actually across the fence over here in the front garden area where we have planted cover crops, and then we were letting them in here. You can see they'd already started doing a good job of kind of tilling it under. All that stuff we'd put out here, they were doing a great job of eating it, just kind of smashing it down, working it into the ground. They'd made a lot of progress in just a day or 2. We had actually even put them a shelter out here because it's pretty sunny and pigs will sunburn and overheat pretty easily. But yesterday was pretty warm, and that's when everything took a turn for the worse. So we decided these old spots that were out in the garden needed to be moved back in here where they had more shelter they were familiar with. And like that, they were familiar with that hutch. They've got a lean-to barn. They've got waller holes and stuff made in there where they can cool themselves off. So stay with me here. Right across the fence from our front pig pen. I don't call the garden a pig pen because it's the garden and it was just temporarily fenced off. But right across the fence was Dot and Shorttail. Shorttail is not a bully. She is actually, if anybody's a bully, it would be probably Big Mama. She bullied Dot around. She's big. She's the original here. And Shorttail's just always kind of been the new kid in town. And so she's never been a bully. So this was our mistake. We ran the show pig and the 2 Mangalitas because we couldn't get them separated in here with Dot and Shorttail. You can see Dot wallering in the pond over there. He's doing great. That's when the trouble went down. The Mangalita had already bullied the show pig, so she was already nervous about that. And then Shorttail just kind of ran her off. She didn't do anything major, like she wasn't like trying to kill her or anything, but the show pig was already afraid. So if you can see the fence right over there between the pig pen and the front pen, she went under a chain link fence that's pretty tight. It was pretty large feet for her to get herself under that. And that was the beginning of trouble. So when the Mangalitas saw her do that, they did it as well. They were like, that's our ticket, we're out of here, don't know what's going on. And so at that point, they're back in the front pig pen by themselves. So at that point, everything's okay as far as we can tell. I really do think some things had already been set in motion, but to just the naked eye, everything seemed okay. The pigs were just back where they started from, which was no big deal. Ben and I sat down for a minute to regroup and think this through, because another element to this, he'd been working bees. We had the bees stirred up, so we were doing all this in bee jackets with hoods on, so it was hot, hot, hot. So we decided to ever make this work, we were gonna have to run Shorttail out of where she was and into the back field. So that is what we did. You can see she's now back here in the pasture. She is with Big Mama and Big Daddy. They're out here too. And we thought, okay, problem solved. So now we've got Shorttail out of the way. All seems like it's gonna go great from this point on. We wind up moving the Mangalita, the little Mangalita, and the show pig into the pen with Dot. Like I said, Dot is very docile. He's never like bullied anyone. Now he is a male, And these girls have not been bred yet, so they very likely could be in heat or close to it or coming out of it. So he did start walking around behind them, but he was not bullying or chasing or anything. And that's gonna happen when pigs come in heat. That's how they get bred. So at that point, remember, this pen only has the show pig and the Mangalitzas. We set up a system of fences. We had our 10 that helps push them, and we ran them back in there with Dot. And everyone seemed okay. They weren't chasing each other. Everything seemed fine at that point. Then we took the old spot feeders from the garden. We made an alleyway, again, a piece of 10 to push them, and we ran them back in the front pen where you see them at right now. We watched them for a bit and everything seemed fine. We felt like we'd done a good job, got everyone where they needed to be. Little did we know, tragedy had already been set in motion. So after we watched them for a bit, we went in to sit down and actually we went and showered because we were nasty, sweaty, and covered in mud and things from stomping around in pig pens. Come back out to check them after that, and the show pig had went under that fence again. I honestly don't believe at that point she was being chased. I think she just knew she could do it, and she did. And it was not an easy feat. It's not something like, I know watching this video, you're probably gonna think, well, why didn't you stop that? Why didn't you fix that? It is a tight, heavy fence. It was a super big feat for her to do it in the first place. And it's one of those things, I can't believe she even tried it again, because it had to hurt. She just wanted to do it, and it's one of those things I don't know that you could prevent, other than looking back now, I wish we had just went ahead and put a hot wire up, but we didn't, and hindsight is 20/20. So I know it's easy to watch a snapshot of a video like this and think we should have done this and that and this and that, but when you're living real life, it just always doesn't work out that way. So at that point, we found her. She had went under the fence. She was super stressed because now she's in with all these old spots. And we found her right over there in the mud, and she's struggling to breathe. She had not been in here very long at all. And she's laid up, she's overheated, struggling to breathe. It's dark at this point, so it's not like the sun is beating down. And we struggled and we walked her just to get her out of this gate where she could be by herself. We have water right here. We washed her down to cool her off. But we felt like we were cooling her off too quick, so we took it slow. We worked with her for a while. But we knew at that point it was looking very grim. This all happened in a matter of minutes. It's crazy how fast this happened. Our mind was just literally blown. We've raised pigs since 2012. We've never encountered anything like this. So we came out multiple times last night, cooled her down, checked on her. We put like 10 between her and the fence so that the old spots couldn't get to her and like bite on her or anything like that. We wanted to try to keep her safe and keep her comfortable. We were really hoping that some rest and a cool night of cooling off, that she'd be okay, but it just wasn't to be. I'm gonna show you what I came out and found this morning. If your kids are watching this, it is a dead pig, so I just want to put that disclaimer out there. Ben checked her at 5 o'clock this morning. He got her rolled over and took care of, and then I came out a little bit later, and this is what I saw. So don't let this happen to you. What I found out was it's called porcine stress syndrome. I may not be pronouncing that correctly, but it's due to a gene, and that's why a lot of people that raise like bigger hogs like this will make sure that their herd is gene-free. There's a stress gene, and that's the main preventative you can do about it. Nothing else really in a farm situation. Once that's activated, you can't do anything about it. Now, there are some extreme measures that a vet could take, but it's not something practical for you to do on your farm. So what I believe happened is once she was in there the very first time with Shorttail, and Shorttail didn't do a whole lot to her, honestly. The Mangalitza had done more bullying the past few days, but pigs do that. They have to adjust and accept their role. It's just part of it. You can't have every pig in a separate pen. But she just got stressed enough that that stress gene kicked in, and they can die in minutes. Hers took a little bit longer, but there are some signs to it, and she had almost every one. So a couple things about this PSS that you should know. It's a recessive gene, so it's triggered by stress or excitement, but it doesn't always happen. It doesn't mean if you raise one even that has the gene that it's guaranteed to happen. It doesn't. It's just a possibility. If it does though, death can occur in as little as 10 minutes. It took a little bit longer than that for her, but the onset was very, very rapid. The things we noticed, and then when I looked it up, I was like, classic symptoms. That's exactly what it was. She started twitching all over, muscle tremors, face twitching, rapid onset of breathing trouble. I've never seen anything like it. It was painful to watch. And then another thing I noticed last night was red blotchy skin. Hers, she almost had some patches of like purple because it was like she was not getting enough oxygen to her tissues. So it was pretty traumatic, to be honest. Nothing I ever want to see again, and just something I don't want you to experience. The only way to prevent this, if you're going to raise hogs, is to make sure that you have a gene-free herd, and that's not something you can necessarily do yourself, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's not something we probably will even do at all, but it's something we will definitely be aware of. We've been working for a few years to try to do things here on our farm as stress-free for the animals as possible. Every animal around here, we've tried to improve our operation, from load-out pens to corrals and different things that make things as stress-free as possible. And that has just been solidified in my mind. That is paramount to having animals. You can run them all over the place all day long and stress yourself and them out, but you may pay for it one of these days. And so that is number one thing I would suggest to you is think through your plan before you just start chasing animals around or moving animals around. Be aware, if you're going to bring new animals into your farm, that they're not going to accept each other right off the bat. Sometimes they will, but that's not really the nature of animals. So maybe do some fence line introductions, which is what we had been doing. I told you where all the pigs were before all this started. They'd been in pens right next to each other. I just don't think it was long enough. So consider that. And lastly, this is just advice. We get asked a lot about what would you do to start? What would you do about this if you were new to farming or homesteading? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't get one pig to raise out. Get two at least. Get 2 beehives. Get 2 cows. Get 2 of whatever, because when things like this happen and you only had one, you don't have anything left. And things are gonna happen. It's just part of it. It's tough. I'm sick. I'm angry, actually. I was pretty angry this morning. Like, I cannot believe this has happened. And I get mad at myself, and I tick back through the things like, I should have done that, could have done that, this wouldn't have happened. And while some of that's true, and we just have to accept responsibility that they are in our care, you also have to accept that sometimes things just happen, and it stinks, and it's terrible, and it's going to make you angry. It's going to make you question what you're doing. But anytime you just have one of something, you're just this close to just being out of business, and your food supply is shot. A couple things I wanted to end with. We will not be eating this pig. I know that question will be asked. People in old times used to wait till a cold fall day to butcher pigs, and there was a reason for that. If you've ever watched someone, videos or like anything to learn how to do it, it is a fast process. You make the shot, and then you go ahead and bleed them out, and then you jump into action. It's not something you just take a lazy day doing here and there. If you do, you're taking a big risk of making yourselves and others sick with bacteria. It's warm here already. I'm already sweating this morning. It's way too hot for a pig to have laid out there dead for any amount of time. If we were going to butcher it, it would have needed to have been immediate. So no, we will not be eating this pig. Our family's health is too important to risk something like that. So while we are excited for Roots and Refuge to get the old spots and all of that, we just aren't sure that Mangalitas are the way we need to go. The Mangalitas take 18 months to 2 years sometimes to grow out big enough to have a butcher-sized pig. Old spots are grown out in 8 months. So you take those and cross them, you can imagine it's gonna fall somewhere in the middle. It's not gonna be 8 months that they're grown out. And so that means more feed, more time of raising them and everything here on our homestead. And all of that equates to higher prices for the meat and for you guys. And so just give us some feedback here. Like, would you like to see us do that? Would you be willing personally to pay the higher price for a Mangalitsa Old Spot cross? Would you want piglets out of that? Things like that. Because if there's no interest in that and you guys really would just want old spots and those fed out at the best price possible you can get, that's the direction we want to go, because we are we're thrilled with eating the old spot meat ourselves. They are a lard pig as well as the Mangalitsa. They're very similar in what they produce, but they have a lot more meat and they're grown out quicker. So we're thrilled with doing that. We like raising them. They're a heritage breed. They don't have the long snout to root a whole bunch and things like that. But this is just something we thought would be cool to bring to you guys. But now we're thinking, would you even want it? And so just leave us some feedback down in the comments, because honestly, we're working for you guys, and we want to do what you would want and be willing to support. So like I said, just let us know. If we decide not to go this direction, we will be offering this pure Mangalitsa mama up for sale, and possibly the feeder too, I'm not sure. So if you have interest in that, shoot us an email. That would be the best way so it doesn't get lost down in the comments. We'll see you guys on the next one. We thank you for watching. We appreciate y'all so much. I know this isn't an upbeat video, but it's not been an upbeat couple days, and I just can't fake that and act like everything's great when we've lost a awesome animal, because frankly we were super pumped about breeding her into our program. And one last side note, we may try this again. I know you might think y'all are absolutely insane, why would you do that again? But y'all, even when I got to the processor last week, the guy said this is the best batch of pigs I've seen in a long time, and it's the best batch y'all have ever raised and brought. They were just fantastic. And so we may do it again and try again, raising a breeder female and bringing it into our program, because it's just, I think it's just going to be great quality meat to bring to the market for you guys. So that's it. We don't give up. We don't give up around here. Yesterday when we were doing stuff, Ben even said that to me. He said, we don't give up. We don't quit. And I got back up and we kept going. And that's how I feel today. I'm just telling myself, we don't quit. We don't let stuff beat us down and just give up. So you guys don't either. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and God bless.